Kanye West was once worth over $1 billion, but today he's no longer on Forbes' billionaire list. How does someone lose that much wealth that fast? In this video, we'll break down how he built his fortune, and more importantly, how he lost it all. This isn't about celebrity drama. It's about money, mindset, and mistakes that even billionaires make. Because if someone with global fame and billion-dollar partnerships can fall, there are lessons here that you need to hear. Let's get into it and rise to riches. Most people think that once you reach billionaire status, you're set for life. But here's the truth. Wealth is fragile, especially when it depends on external brands, public image, and a single income stream. Kanye West didn't lose everything because he went broke. He lost it because his behavior triggered a chain reaction. Adidas walked away. Banks cut ties. And within days, his net worth dropped by over $800 million. It's a powerful example of how fast money can move. In both directions, this story isn't about music. It's about reputation, risk, and the business behind personal brands. So let's break down the 10 key moments in Kanye's rise and downfall, so you can avoid the same traps, even if you never make a hit record. Kanye wasn't always rich. In fact, in the early 2010s, he claimed to be $53 million in personal debt. But instead of fading out, he made a bold move, shifting from music to fashion. When Nike refused to give him royalty rights, he left and signed a groundbreaking deal with Adidas. That's when Yeezy was born, not just a sneaker, but a cultural phenomenon. It wasn't about fashion. It was about ownership. With a royalty deal, Kanye made money every time a pair of Yeezys sold, and they were flying off shelves. By 2020, the Yeezy brand was valued at over $3 billion, and Ye's net worth hit $1.3 billion, from debt to billionaire. In less than a decade, but the higher the climb, the harder the fall. Here's something most people don't understand. Net worth isn't the same as money in the bank. Kanye's billionaire status wasn't because of liquid cash. It was because of valuation. What investors and analysts believed his Yeezy empire was worth, but valuation is fragile. It's based on perception, projections, and public trust. Once that perception cracks, everything can collapse. Ye's net worth was tied to his brand, and his brand was tied to public image. The moment that image took a hit, so did the numbers. It's a lesson in financial reality. You can look rich on paper and still lose it all in real life. Kanye wasn't just working with Adidas. He was depending on Adidas. Yeezy was distributed, manufactured, and marketed entirely through their platform. That means the moment they walked away, everything stopped. No production, no sales, no revenue stream. It's like building a mansion on rented land. Looks impressive, but you don't own the foundation. Diversification is what protects you when one pillar falls, and Kanye didn't have that safety net. His empire stood on one contract, and that contract had a clause. Morals and brand image mattered. Once he crossed the line, Adidas had all the power. Kanye's downfall wasn't just financial, it was public. His unpredictable behavior, controversial statements, and media outbursts didn't just cause headlines, they triggered corporate panic. Because in business, risk isn't just about numbers, it's about reputation. No brand wants to be linked to chaos, especially not in today's culture of accountability. So when they made inflammatory remarks and doubled down instead of apologizing, companies ran fast. And here's the kicker. You can't negotiate with a PR disaster. You can only pay the price. With deals, with partners, with everything you've built. After Adidas dropped Kanye, the dominoes kept falling. Balenciaga, gone. Gap terminated the partnership. Even JP Morgan Chase, his bank, ended their relationship and gave him weeks to move his money. That's not just bad press, that's a full-scale business collapse. These weren't small-time contracts, they were multi-million-dollar deals, years in the making, and they vanished in days. Why? Because in the corporate world, association is everything. When your name becomes a liability, the safest move is distance. Fast. This wasn't cancel culture, it was risk management. And Kanye learned the hard way that loyalty has limits, especially in business. Kanye didn't lose his fortune through lawsuits or fraud. He lost it through words, interviews, tweets, unfiltered lives. Every statement chipped away at his reputation and his valuation. One controversial post didn't just offend, it caused stocks to shake, teams to resign, and contracts to die. That's the power and danger of having your net worth tied to your voice. And when your brand is you, there's no buffer, no PR team that can undo what's already viral. His fortune fell because his public image became toxic, and in business, toxicity doesn't sell. In 2022, Kanye was officially removed from Forbes' Billionaire list. His estimated net worth dropped from $1.3 billion to $400 million. What changed? The value of Yeezy disappeared the moment Adidas pulled out, and since most of his net worth was based on that brand's valuation, his empire deflated. No lawsuits, no bankruptcy, no theft. Just a brutal reminder that wealth on paper can vanish overnight. And it did. What's left now is real estate, music royalties, and whatever cash he had liquid. Still millions, but a long way from billionaire status. And more importantly, a long way from the financial power he once held. As the public backlash grew, so did the pressure. Kanye faced lawsuits, dropped performances, and closed business doors. His Donda Academy shut down. Collaborators silent. And the snowball kept rolling. Because once momentum shifts in the wrong direction, it takes everything with it. Investors get nervous. Banks get cold. The media turns ruthless. And your assets, they start bleeding value. This isn't just about losing money. It's about losing leverage. Because when controversy surrounds you, even the things you still own can become liabilities. At his peak, Kanye believed he was untouchable. He had the followers, the fame, the influence. But here's the truth. Influence isn't immunity. You can have millions of fans and still lose everything if you cross the wrong lines. Kanye mistook cultural power for corporate protection. But companies don't care how many people stream your music. They care how your name affects their bottom line. And when your influence becomes unpredictable, you stop being an asset and become a risk. No one is too big to fail, especially in the business world. Kanye's story is dramatic, but the lessons are practical. First, diversify. Don't let your entire net worth hang on one brand, one deal, or one platform. Second, protect your name. Reputation is capital, and one of the hardest things to rebuild once lost. Third, build beyond your ego. Confidence is good. Arrogance is dangerous. We all want success. But if you don't build it with strategy, discipline, and resilience, it can disappear faster than it came. Kanye didn't lose because he lacked money. He lost because he lacked protection. Protection of his image, protection of his business structure, protection from his own impulses. Fame without filters is a liability, and money without management is just noise. You don't need to be a billionaire to take this seriously, because whether you're building a brand, a side hustle, or just trying to stack your first $10,000, the same rules apply. Stay focused, stay grounded, and remember, wealth is not just what you earn, it's what you keep. If this gave you a new lens on money, mindset, and mistakes, hit that like button, subscribe to Rise to Riches, and let me know in the comments. What would you have done differently if you were in Kanye's shoes? Because you don't need to crash to learn the lesson. You just need to pay attention, be smart, be intentional, and rise to riches.